Well, let's talk about what a template is and why we use them. Then we'll open up a few that we've made for LCBC type projects. Well, a template is an empty logic project that will allow you to have a custom starting point each time you start working on a new song or creating backing tracks or whatever it is you're doing, so that you don't have to spend a lot of time configuring your own personal digital workspace so that you can start being creative right away. And what I mean by that is maybe you're not using templates and maybe you've been working with Logic a bit and you might say to yourself, hey, every time I open up the program, I'm always spending time doing the same things in the beginning. So maybe you're a guitar player and every time you work, you're always using the same amp plugin settings or the same EQ settings. Or maybe you're a vocalist and you're always finding that you're using the same reverb. And maybe you like having Logic to look a certain way. So all the controls that, the digital controls that are within the Logic, what's called the GUI or the graphic user interface, those can all be changed or added. And so it can look a little bit more minimalistic, or it can look a little bit more full with more options readily available. So all these types of things are configurable because of a template, and it will allow you to get a head start on your work. If you look in the YouTube description below, there are a couple links for the LCBC templates via Dropbox, which you are free to download. One of them is a bit more stripped down, and it's called the Reference Track Controller and Click Track template. And the other one is called LCBC 2019 template, and that's created by Jordan Buckwalter, one of our staff worship leaders. And it's an adaptation of the Reference Track and Click Track Controller, but it also has preloaded software instruments in the worship music genre, such as drums, pads, and lead sounds. And both of them contain the click track and count-off sounds that we use at LCBC for our weekend song loops. So through these videos, I'm going to be working from both of these templates. And the thing to remember with them is that before you start working on a new project, song, or whatever it is you're doing, make sure to save a copy of the template and rename it before you start working. That way the template stays at its correct starting point and that you don't write over it. So I'm going to go over here. I downloaded the Reference Track Controller. I'm going to open that up. Before I start working, very important, I'm going to say Save As. And I'm going to choose the folder I want to save it to. So let's say I'm going to go to my Clicks and Loops folder. And I try to be a little bit organized. Here I have some alphabetical folders. I'm just going to call this Song 1. So I'm going to rename this to Song 1. Also make sure that you say organize my project as a folder and copy the following files into your project. Make sure you check audio files. And if you have a different template that you're using, you may want to check off some of these other things that will also copy into this new project folder, and then say save. So now if I go into Logic, Clicks and Loops, there's my new song and my new Logic project. This is our more stripped down LCBC template, and I'm going to give you the really quick run through on this. I made a video a few years back that goes more in depth, so check out the link on the screen or in the description below if you have more questions. So if I take my mouse pointer and I put it here along this horizontal ruler and press play with the space bar, and stop with the space bar, you can hear there's a click. And here's our click track channel, or click track. This is our count-ins.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And this is my reference track where I can drag in or import a song and sync it to the click track. And then I'm ready to start creating backing tracks or loops for that song. And down here are the quick access controls. So I have volume for the downbeat of the click, or the upbeat, or the ands. Here is volume for the count in.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And then volume for the overall click. And I can solo that as well. And I also have volume for the reference track and solo for the reference track as well. Screensets are another feature we have set up in the LCBC templates, and by using the horizontal row of numbers on your computer keyboard, you can easily switch between different customized views in Logic. So if I press 1 on the computer keyboard, it's going to open up Screenset 1, and that's my main window area. 2 is going to show me the exact same view of 1, and we can alter 1 and 2 to be variations of each other. 3 is a setup that allows me to quickly drag in audio files from the right side of my desktop into Logic. I like using this if I've downloaded an MP3 from Planning Center and I want to put it easily into the reference track area here. And 4 shows me a bigger view of the mixer, and 5 shows me a bigger view of the piano roll for editing MIDI notes. You can customize these screen sets. So as I said, screen set 1 and 2 are identical, but let's say for 2, I wanted to have more room in the main window area to see my music and my regions. So first I'll select screen set 2. Now I'm going to make my adjustments, and I'll close down these easy access controls. And then I'm going to close down this area on the left, which is called the inspector. And I do that by pressing I. And this 2 in the menu area shows me the screen set I'm currently on. And the dot next to it shows me that it's locked or can't be changed. If it is locked, I'm going to choose unlock. And then I'm going to lock it again so my changes will be saved. So now 1 and 2 have slightly different views. And you can use this method for creating screen sets in any Logic project, not just the LCBC templates. So if you are creating music content for LCBC, you don't have to use one of these templates. They're really there just as a resource for you, and you can save them to your hard drives and change them to however you want to work. But if you are creating a song loop for our weekend gatherings that the band is going to play to with Ableton Live, I just ask you please to use these specific sounds for your click and your count off, so that we have consistency from song to song for our bands that are listening to them. And you can find those audio files here if you look in your main folder for each of the templates, go to audio files. Here you'll find each of the count-offs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the click sound. So you can take those and you can drag those into a new session, or you can even drag those into a different program and use those for your click and your count-off sounds. And Logic has a few templates that you can use as well. So if I go up here into the menu again for Logic, File, I'm going to say New from Template. Now I can start from an empty project, which is Logic's absolute bare bones project starting point. Or I can go into one of their sort of different music genre projects here, templates. And these can be really cool if you want to just check them out, open them up, and you probably learned something from them. I know I've learned something from these by just opening them up. And maybe you want to start from the scratch and use one of these templates. So I think you're getting the idea of why templates are helpful, and hopefully you can find something that works for you.